Hello guys, my name is David and I'm just going to be going over the projects that we have. That's the HTTPS and SSL project, as you can see. Yeah, so for the first task, right, I just want you to go over the project, make sure that you have an understanding of HTTPS and SSL and all that stuff, right? So you also make sure that your servers are currently running. So these are my own servers, they are running. And then what you want to do is you want to start the first project. I'm not going to go too in depth explaining all the concepts and stuff, but I'll just try to put you guys through what I can, and hopefully you guys will be able to make it work on your end. Alright, so for the first project, right, you have to log into your domain control panel, right? So this is mine. You log into the settings and then you go to DNS management. When you go to DNS management, you'll be able to see this dashboard. When you come across this dashboard, the first thing you want to do is you want to connect your subdomains to your server IP addresses. If you look at this carefully, you would see that these are the server IP addresses of my server, right? So what you want to do is you will connect these IP addresses to the domains that I'll be showing you. Alright, so first of all, you already have the one that has your name without any subdomain ending in .tech, right? You have that one. So first you connect it with your web01 IP address. This is it right here. You create, that's the way you do this is you add a record. So all this is by adding a record. When you add a record, let me just click add record. Oh shit. Okay, the way you do this is by adding record. So once you add the record, you'll be able to add the subdomain. So for example, www. will be connected to the load balancer IP address. LB01 will be connected to the load balance IP address. Web01 will be connected to Web01 IP address. Web02, like that. Okay, so that is the way you solve this first one. And then once you're done doing that, you will come back to your let me log in. Okay, so once you're done connecting the IP addresses to all that, you will come back and then you will VI into the first project, right? That's the first task, which is this, right? You VI into this. This thing I'm currently using is it's Ubuntu 20, so you guys will be using Ubuntu 16. So what you do is that you just VI into that, and then I think I'll have to, let me see if I can VI into, because this one I'm using is Ubuntu 20, and the one that is supposed to be the server that we'll use is Ubuntu 16. So let me try and log into that. So yeah, okay, so this is the server that you were supposed to log into. So you make sure that you cd into this repository, and then you cd into let me see, HTTPS SSL. Let me just copy this. Right, and then you VI into this, right? This is the first task. That's after you finish setting up the IP addresses in your .tech control panel, right? In order for this to work, you need to have done that. So once you VI, you can see the configuration settings for mine. Yours can be different, but this one works for me. Alright, so you make sure that your subdomains are all pointing to your various servers, right? You can see it here. Okay, so now you exit. Alright, so that one is all set up. And if you check on your intranet, you should be able to check. Alright, so now for the second project, this is the one that gives a lot of people issues, right? What we're trying to achieve in this second project, for this second task, right, is to is to create a certificate using setbox and also configure a proxy to accept encrypted traffic for your subdomain. Alright, so first of all, what you want to do is that you will want to install all the necessary you'll need to install setbox first, right? So what you do is, first of all, you use this command, you update everything here in your Ubuntu. This is my Ubuntu. Let me close this so it doesn't confuse you. This is my Ubuntu server, right? So you come here and then you will update your, this is the command that you write, sudo apt update. Once you're done writing that, you will come back and then you will install setbox, because it's setbox that is going to give you your certificate. Is going to give you the file that you will need for this project. Okay, so you come, you click on install setbox. Once setbox is done installing, right, the next step will be to generate your certificate, right? You will need to generate your certificate. So what you do, you use this command right here, you copy it, and then you make sure that you replace this with your actual address, right? The one that has your subdomain, your domain name, and then it ends with .tech. All right, you make sure that you have this going on. So most likely you're going to get an error because there is a port. There's this port. There's port 80, and then there's port 443. You want to make sure that nothing is running on that port, because this is where your project is going to be running on. So you want to stop those ports, because if you don't, you always get an error. So you first come here and make sure that Nginx is not running. Remember, we've already done the Nginx project, so Nginx is most likely running. So you come here and then you copy this command and then you paste here to stop Nginx from running. After stopping Nginx from running on any of those ports, right, you will come back here and also make sure that her proxy is also not running, because if it's running, it is not going to work. Your project is going to be disrupted. So you paste that command, and then once you're done, you come back and then you try it again, right? You come back, you copy, and then you try it again. Okay, and then this time it should work, and by that time your certificate will be generated. You should get something like a message like this: congratulations, your blah 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 has been saved. So you get your, so make sure that you copy this message, copy this entire message. Most importantly, this is the path to your full chain, and this is the path to your private key. These are the most important things that you need for this project. So you make sure that you copy these paths and save it somewhere. Okay, and then what you do next is you will sudo vi, that you vi into this. Okay, another tip is, if you want to stop using sudo, you can write this command so that you can just have the permission, the administrative permission to copy and view configuration files. So you can just use sudo su. After writing sudo su, you will not need to include sudo in front of every command that you write. All right, so after doing that, you sudo vi into your proxy configuration. In this case, this is what mine looks like. This is the default configuration for her proxy, right? So this is where you're going to need, this is the most important sections, right? You're going to need to have your full chain right here. This is the path that this is the most important path in the front end section. you will need to have your full chain right here. And then if you scroll down, you can see that you have your server 5711, sorry, your servers right here with the IP address pointing to it. You also need this for the back end. Okay, so now you exit after doing that. Okay, so most likely after you sudo vi into that and you have all those configurations, if you to test if there's an error, to test if everything is set, to test if your configuration is valid, you will run this command. You will run this, just give me a sec. To test for errors, you will run this particular command right here, right? So you copy and then you will run it here. So as you can see, this is the most important line that you need to see, right? This is the most important. You need to see configuration file is valid, right? Just forget about all this other stuff. Once you see configuration file is valid, you know that you're good to go. But most likely you will not get that message, and that's where a lot of people are stuck. So to solve that problem, what you will do is, first of all, you will need to solve that problem, because the error message that you most likely get is that you see that it will say something like the SSL certificate could not pull out the private key from the full chain, from that path that you placed there. So the issue is that your private key is supposed to be inside of your full chain, right? So it's sort of supposed to be appended together, so that when her proxy tries to check your file, it will be able to retrieve the full the private key. Okay, so how you can solve that problem is you will need to create a file that contains both the full chain and the private key, right? So now let me show you guys how you will do that, right? So what you want to do is you will run this command on your terminal. You will run this command. You will run this command to see what it's inside of your full chain, right? This is for the full chain. You sudo cat into the path of your full chain. So this will show you the certificates and everything that is inside of it. But mind you, the private key is not here, and that's the reason why the error is coming into play in this situation, right? Is because it is not able to retrieve the private key from this path. So what you want to do is so what you want to do is you will copy, sorry, let me write that again. After you've done sudo cat on this, what you will now do is you will copy everything that you see inside of this, and you paste it somewhere. Just keep it somewhere, maybe like your notepad or something like that. So just keep it somewhere because you're going to need it. What you do again is you will come back and then you will sudo cat into the private key. You remember when you generated your certificate using setbox, you got a full chain and you got the private key, right? These are the two most important parts that you need for this project. So you come back here, you sudo cat into your private key, right? Once you sudo cat into your private key, you will also copy the content of your private key entirely, and then you will save it somewhere, right? Save it in your notepad, right? Good. Now what you will do is you will create a file, you will create another path, right, that you can append both the details of the full chain and the private key together. That way, when her proxy runs on this particular path, it will be able to retrieve the private key from here, right? So you will not get that error again. So what you do is you sudo vi, copy, okay, you will sudo vi into this path. Okay, remember, if you look at this carefully, you see that it is just the basic path, but I created another section again right here, right here. This is the most important thing right here. I created another path to this, so just make sure that you look careful at this and make the necessary adjustments on your own file also. All right, so once you sudo vi into this, right, what you will now do is you will carry you will paste both the certificate. You paste the certificate, and then you will paste the private key inside of that file, right? That's how you're going to do that. All right, so you paste the certificate for the full chain. You paste the certificate for the private key inside of this path, right? And that is how your project is going to finally work. Okay, once you do that, right, you will exit the editor, and then you come here and you give it permission. This will give this will give it permission to run on your this will give it the permission it needs to be able to, for her proxy to be able to retrieve the full chain and all that. So this is not so you're going to give this first permission, right? It's just this, right? This is the permission you will give to it. Okay, let me write this again. Okay, I think I wrote it down here. Okay, so this is the permission that you will give to it, right? You will write these two permissions right here. You will give her proxy the ownership, right? So you give it for this first one, right? And then you will also give it this permission also, this 644 permission, right? Take note of this. This is a new path that you have created. This is the path that appends the private key with the certificates in the full chain. All right. Excuse me. So now you come back and then you sudo vi into your proxy configuration, right? Once you're done doing all that, you sudo vi into your proxy configuration. Now you will see okay, let me vi into this. All right, now you will see your configuration. Now what you want to do in this bind section, right, what you want to do is you want to replace this full chain information, right, this path, with a new path that you've already created that has all the necessary permissions, that has the private key and the full chain. And this is the path, right? This is it. You will replace it here. You will replace this right here with this one, right? This is what you will replace, and then you exit, you save, and you exit your editor, right? So by now everything should be able to work properly if you followed all these steps. I do apologize if I didn't go too deep into this explanation, but yeah, I feel like if you already have a basic grasp of what you're doing, you should pretty much be able to understand what I'm what I'm saying. But if you don't, you can leave questions in the comment section, and I'll see if I can be able to address it. Okay, so once you do that, you copy and then you paste this here again to make sure that your configuration does not have any issues. If you followed everything accordingly, then you should get configuration is valid, and that is when your project is all set. Good. Okay, and then you come here and you click on, you restart your proxy, right? Once you restart, everything should be in place and working fine. So now you want to go back to your Ubuntu. If this is not where this is where my Ubuntu is running, right? This is Ubuntu 20 I'm using right here. Then if I want to complete the project, you will just you vi into this configuration, right? The settings for this configuration, everything inside, copy everything, right? copy everything. Let me paste it here so I can show you what I mean. So what you want to do is you will want to, okay, let me see, v, so you copy everything that is here, right? This is for the project. You copy, this is for task, for the second task, right? So you copy everything that is here, you save, and then you go back to your project terminal. This is not my project terminal, right? You go back to the project terminal, and then you create the file that we're asked to create. All right, this is the file. This is the file right here. You create this proxy termination file or whatever, and then you save the configuration settings that you copied from here into this, and you're done with the project basically. All right, so congratulations for coming this far. And for the next project, it's pretty much the same thing. You copy the configuration file and you paste it there, and you will be done with your project, right? This is basically all you have to do for this project. Alright, I hope this video was helpful. If I was too fast or if I was not really in depth, I do apologize. This is my first video, and I hope that subsequently I can be of help also. To have a great day, and I hope that this tutorial was helpful to you in some sort of way. Maybe you learned something new, or even if, yeah, have a great day.